If you want to take better parkrun photos, then this is the video for you. Hey guys, if you want to take better parkrun photos, then I really want you to listen in and watch on what we've got in store for you. I'm with here, David Price is one of our Runners Jam members and a professional photographer. And it's great to have David with us over these series of videos, David, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, David. So what are we talking about over these series of videos, David? What do you got in store for us?
Okay, well, I think the first thing we want to talk about is composition, which is how to take a photo that just from the look of it looks good.
Yeah.
Putting things in the right spot in the photo.
Yeah, exactly. Making sure things aren't popping over people's heads or something like that. Yeah.
That's right. So composition.
Composition's great.
We'll have a look at lighting, and what makes good lighting, what are the challenges with lighting, how the camera affects that,
Yes.
the sun,
Yep.
the position.
Yep, exactly. Lighting is such an important part of photography, isn't it?
It really is. It's all about the light.
It's all about the light.
Super. All right. Then we'll have a talk about the differences between shooting with a DSLR camera and shooting with a phone of any description.
Yep, iPhone or a Samsung or whatever you got in your hand.
Yeah. More often than not, Parkrun is shot with phones. So
It is.
We want to make sure that we cover off how to get the most out of whatever phone it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want to do over these series of videos. Give you the tips and tricks to get the best possible shot you can.
That's right. Then we'll have a talk about editing, post-processing the photos. Everything from cropping, which is super easy to do on nearly anything.
Yep.
To color correction, fixing up lighting problems and that sort of thing in post.
Exactly.
So we'll tick that off.
Yep. And you can do a lot of this editing on your phone as well, David.
Absolutely. The software is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really exciting too as well.
Do that.
And obviously we might try and get some question and answer time as well, David, if we can.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. So David, tell me, what is the best camera? This is always the question we get from people who want to take photos, whether it's at Parkrun or whatever. What is the best camera?
Yep. Well, there's really only one answer to that.
Is there?
It's the one that's in your hand.
Exactly.
Right. And so the objective really should be just to get all you can out of what it is that you've got in your hand. So
yeah, exactly.
You don't need to have a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera for that matter to shoot good photos. You don't even need to have a iPhone 13 Pro.
That's right.
Max
yeah, exactly.
Or,
the latest Samsung.
Exactly. Perhaps a 7-year-old,
like my iPhone 7.
7-year-old Nokia
may not work.
Not give you the same results as you're hoping for, but
exactly.
Even still, you get what you can. But most people aren't in that position. Most people have got something that'll take half decent photos.
Yeah, and like I said, most people have got a smartphone, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's a Samsung or whatever. And a lot of those newer phones now, all those sort of phones take pictures.
Yeah.
And
they do it well.
And they do it really well.
Yeah.
Exactly. They really do. So, David, when it comes to Parkrun, what are we supposed to shoot? In your experience, what do we need to be shooting?
Okay. Well, people like to see themselves in action.
That's right.
And so we want to, first of all, I guess, get the start.
Start's really important.
I've got a couple of example photos here of start photos. So this is one at Underwood.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And as you can see here, I've got sort of a series of 3 that started at the top of the hill. And then as everybody ran by, I was changing my position to make sure the background looked a bit different as I went down. There is a problem with this photo that I'm not proud of. And if I was doing this again, I'd do it slightly differently. Toilets in the background, probably,
composition.
Yeah, that's right. Toilets and garbage bins is another thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't want to have.
That's a nice one. I like that one.
This one is at Kedron Park. Yeah, Kedron Park. And it's probably taken from a long way back with it's got the telephoto lens selected
Yep,
on
yep.
I took this one with a phone.
Yep.
But that zoom look sort of compresses the crowd and
It does,
makes
yeah.
it look visually appealing. All right, so yes, we want to get the start photos.
Yeah.
Then I think moving on, as the event is being run, you want to move around and try to get photos from all over the place.
Yeah.
And we'll talk in later episodes about position and
Yeah.
how you can put yourself where the best shot's going to be for the light in particular. But let's have a look at some of these ones that were taken around the same spot on the course, but just by changing one side of the path to the other, you can get an entirely different view of it.
Yeah, and I really like this photo because it really encapsulates just the magnitude of Parkrun and the people in it.
Right, it's a stream of...
Yeah. That's a really nice composed. Yeah.
That one wasn't with a phone, but
yeah,
still, you can do it with a phone.
you can.
And get the same sort of effect there. So this is a couple of photos. These next 5 were at Kedron Park again, and just getting to different spots on the course. It's, as a photographer, you don't typically get to run around a lot, but if you want to, you can actually really mix up your backgrounds. So they're sort of all over the place, these ones, and it just gives you a different perspective on the course, Yeah,
it does. And David, this was taken with your phone, wasn't it?
Yeah, this one is the Samsung Galaxy S22. It's a very nice phone, no question about that. But people would love to see photos like this coming up in the Facebook feed when they're done. And
it just shows you what you can do with just with the phone.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly. All right, so as well as moving around, one other thing we want to do with the photos, it's not all about the runners. Parkrun couldn't happen without volunteers.
That's right.
So we want to honour the volunteers in our photos, I think. All right, so our start-finish line team, that's always a good one. At the start-finish line, you've got the
timekeeper.
And RDs normally hanging around as well.
And the person handing out the finishing token.
Yep. At the end of it, you're going to get the tail walkers come through.
Yep, that's right.
Include them as well.
Yep.
This is one that started Underwood where it was Pacer Week.
That's right.
So nice to get all those numbers on the back of the shirt.
Exactly.
Few photos there of the volunteers having fun.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Nice one there of Sandy.
Yeah, the run director.
Good job, Sandy.
Yeah.
If there's another photographer on the course.
Who wears 2 hats?
That's right. You must have been a busy boy that day.
I was. I think I was taking video that day too as well, so you can probably see I've got a microphone on top of my camera, so I was taking video there as well.
Okay. Good work. And hat holder.
And hat holder at that point too.
Nice work. All right. There's our tail walkers. Yep. And coming in for a finish.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so don't forget about the volunteers because they're a super important part of Parkrun.
They are.
And they deserve photos in it just as much as the runners.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at finish line photos, which will be the next thing.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we've done the start. We've moved around the course and did a few photos. We've taken photos of the volunteers and finally want to get some really nice finishing photos. Finishing photos are great because typically, particularly for the first half hour, you're going to have people running through really pushing it. And exactly.
The effort and the exhaustion and the emotion, all of those things just by themselves make great photos.
They do.
And if you can capture it, at least being focused, they make great photos. Yeah. So I think this is our local member at Meadowbrook. I think Tony, I think's his name. Okay, cool. Yep. Coming in for a happy finish. Yeah, good. Yep. Michaela there, finishing off. So finishing off photos is another thing. You don't just have to stand in front of people coming straight towards you. That's good. There's some opportunities off to the side. So people coming towards you though, you're going to get these. You're going to get the emotion on the face. Shots. Yeah, this guy's probably got a bit more energy to burn than he used on his 5K run. Yep, they're right, coming straight towards you. And then different angles. So this is from one from behind for the finish line, seeing all the other people in the background.
Yeah.
In front of the finish line, coming towards you. You know, high, low.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
The angles make it a bit different. People love photos of their dogs too.
They do. And we do have a lot of, park runners who will run with their dogs.
Yep.
So, yeah, dogs are an important part of the park run family.
That's it. That's. I don't think there was anything to stand on there. That's probably just holding the phone up above.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about the phone. It's easy to sort of maneuver.
Yep.
You know, when you
hold it up and still get a look at what you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's good. Different angles.
Yeah. I like that. You know, you're taking sort of the photo of the finish line, and obviously this park run has got finish line that's actually sort of painted into the pavement.
Right.
Not all, and not all park runs have that, but yeah, it's great to sort of capture some of that sort of those shots as well. Yeah, cool. And so, David, what shouldn't we be taking photos of?
Well, there's the one thing you shouldn't do is take a photo like this unless you get approval afterwards. People crossing their arms like that. It's the universal park run sign for don't take a photo of me. So it's what I have found is that sometimes, particularly on a loop course where maybe they're running the course twice to get the 5K, the person will perhaps do this on the first lap and then assume you know for the second one, but you're shooting maybe 200 people.
Quite possibly.
And it can be hard. So it's one of the advantages of paying a bit of attention with the post-processing, not just willy-nilly uploading everything. You might take this photo because it's like a reflex. Oh, run a click, and then you realise later on that
they've crossed their arms. So the crossed arm is code for
don't take my photo.
Don't take a photo. Yeah.
So then you make a mental note when you're processing them afterwards that guy in a red shirt with the glasses. If I see him again, I'll make sure I don't include those photos
on the upload.
Yeah, just got to respect people's. Privacy, sensitivity.
And look, you don't get a lot of it, do you, David? Like in our experience, we haven't seen a lot, maybe one or two.
A couple of times a year, maybe.
Yeah, exactly, because most of the times people are more than happy to have their photos taken. And, so it may not come up very often if you're taking photos, but just be aware of it, I think, when it comes to the parkrun rules.
Yes.
Thanks,
David. This photo, I can assure you, I have approval to use because he didn't actually mean don't take my photos. Just being cool. All right.
That's awesome. So what sort of style, David, do you like shooting when it comes to photos?
Well, it's if I can label it, I'd say documentary style. You're telling the story of the day. Yeah,
you are.
And so if you take some photos, like we showed with the volunteers before the actual start of the event, then you've got the start line, moving around, people in different parts of the course.
Yep.
Old people, young people, walkers, runners, prams.
Families,
families, right?
All of that sort of stuff.
Tell the story of the day, really. If there's rain, highlight the rain. If there's puddles, highlight the puddles.
And we've got some of those sort of photos coming up in
looking forward to it. There's
later series.
A few good ones lately. Brisbane's had no shortage of.
Yes, we've had no shortage of rain this year in 2022.
Yeah.
And David, what about the course? I know that you did mention that there is sort of courses that loop around or they go out and back. What's the advantage or disadvantages of some of those courses and how we, as photographers, would utilise the course?
Right. So I suppose as a local photographer at your local event, you'd be well aware of where the good spots to have photos taken are or not. But as far as getting those three main points, the start, the middle and the finish of the run, if you're on an out and back course, that can be very challenging because very quickly after the start, everyone's gone.
Yes, that's right.
And they run out their 2.5K and they come back, and if you're supposed to get them at the finish, how do you get the middle?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a challenge for people on those courses. It's certainly easier to shoot a course where they're running loops. Manippy, Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook is a perfect example.
Underwood is a bit funky But
but it's achievable.
It is achievable. You can get
you can sort of
a number of different places there and see that. I think the most challenging one that I've seen is made a note of it, Kiwana. Kiwana, because they have their run briefing in a park, and then everybody sort of walks slash jogs up to about 500 metres away, and then they have a rolling start from there. It's not even at the park. And run up the hill and then run back down the hill and finish in the park. Yeah. So it's a, kudos to the photographers up there.
You can actually...
How you're supposed to cover that event. Maybe a couple of photographers would be the way to go.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that.
I'll wait up the top and get these ones down here. So, but it can be hard getting one photographer, let alone two. So I think the idea is you've just got to work with what you've got. Yeah. But unless you're the designated photographer and a marshal, where it's your job to stand in the one spot. Yeah. I think the key is really mixing it up. Finding a way to get into different locations to mix up the photos. As a set, they look that much better. They do. That's great, David. Well, there's some really good tips there, David, that you've given us. So remember, the best camera you got is the one in your hand. Absolutely. And what you're supposed to shoot at Parkrun is the start. Try and move around to get as sort of that middle sort of segment of the parkrun. Don't forget the volunteers. We want to make sure we include our volunteers as well within the photos that we capture, and the finish line as well, and getting photos of people coming over the finish line. And just remember, the crossed arms means do not take a photo of that person. And think about the style when you're taking photos throughout the day. David talked about his documentary style as well. And lastly, make the most of the course that you're on, and take advantage of those courses which are out and back or loops or whatever. But do your best to take advantage of the course that you're taking photos on. Yeah. And get out and volunteer photographer. Exactly. Volunteer photographer at someone else's course. Yeah. Mix it up and find a few challenges and get some different shots yourself. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, we'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.